Hello and welcome to the very 20th edition of Thursday Night Thunder podcast with AJ and MMK. This is episode 38 of the series. I'm your host, Adam Jason Sinclair, and tonight on the most hardcore motorsports show on the internet, Mykkal and I will talk a bit about the action in Daytona, preview the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, and remind you why we are your source for the latest and greatest in auto racing news on the planet. Super Bowl 37 champion head coach Jon Gruden from the Champion Bay Buccaneers and current Barstool Sports personality were served with the Grand Marshal for the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, the season opening race of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sunday, March 1st. Jon Gruden won the Super Bowl 37 as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and had also coached the Oakland Las Vegas Raiders 1998 to 2001 and 2018 to 2021 over two stints. At the time of the Super Bowl win, he was the youngest ever head coach to claim an NFL championship. Over his 15-year coaching career, Gruden accumulated 117 wins, won 5 division titles, and made it to 3 consecutive conference championship games. He was also inducted to the Buccaneers Ring of Honor in 2017. From 2009 to 2018, Jon served as color analyst for ESPN's Monday Night Football, as well as an analyst for the NFL Draft and postseason college football games. In 2024, Jon joined Barstool Sports and is featured on their football programming, the Pro Football Show, and Gruden's QB Class.
Green Savory Racing Promotions is proud to announce a dynamic new partnership with Only Bowls, naming the digital wallet and mobile app as the entitlement sponsor for the upcoming NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event. The race, officially titled the Only Bowls Green Flag 150 at St. Petersburg, will bring the high-octane excitement of NASCAR to the iconic streets of the Sunshine City on Saturday, February 28th. The sponsorship marks Only Bowls' first foray into NASCAR entitlement, expanding an already significant presence in motorsports. Only Bowls currently sponsors 4 NTT IndyCar Series entries in the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, the number 18 and number 19 of Dale Coyne Racing, and the number 60 and number 66 of Meyer Shank Racing. The Only Bowls Green Flag 150 at St. Petersburg will mark the first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race on a street course. Only Bowls is a free-to-download digital wallet designed to simplify the path to building digital wealth. Through its Green Flag marketing campaign, the brand aims to transition fans from spectators to participants in the digital economy.
The partnership extends beyond the track with Green Flag Forum, America's Next Lap, occurring at the Mahaffey Theater on Saturday, February 28th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. This public event will feature a keynote on the future of finance by 35-year Wall Street veteran and entrepreneur Todd Alt, Republican National Chair and Tampa native John Gruders, and other special guests, plus a special appearance by Romain Grosjean, Bitcoin Max Global Brand Ambassador, and driver of number 18 Bitcoin Max Honda. For more information on this free event, visit greenflagforum.com or visit Only Bowls Green Flag Garage on site during the event. Fans attending the race weekend can visit the Only Bowls Green Flag Garage Activation Unit to learn more about the ecosystem, including Ask ROI, the AI platform that powers Only Bowls and brings dynamic intelligence to investing, and Bitcoin Max, BMax, the Swiss-based Bitcoin Trust. Attendees who download the app and open a free account during the weekend will be eligible for exclusive promotional offers, including limited edition racing gear and opportunities to win rides in the IndyCar Experience 2-seater. For more information on Only Bowls Green Flag 150 and to purchase tickets, visit the official race website at gpstpete.com.
Ram's innovative free agent driver program continues to deliver fresh excitement to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, with road racing star Colin Braun set to pilot the Kaulig Racing's number 25 Ram 1500 in the series' historic street course debut Saturday, February 28th at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. The program, marking Ram's return to NASCAR after a 13-year absence, features a rotating lineup of veteran stars, rising talents, and available drivers each week in 2026 behind the wheel of the number 25 Ram 1500.
Tony Stewart kicked off the initiative at Daytona. Ty Dillon will drive this afternoon's race, or last week's race, at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, and Braun now joins as the latest participant. A new driver is typically announced at the previous race, blending legacy experience with emerging cross-disciplinary talent to give fans a unique weekly mix in the Ram trucks. Stock car and open-wheel fans will recognize the 37-year-old native of Kapalo, Texas, who began a professional career with early sports car success, including the last podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2006 at age 17. He switched to stock cars in 2007 under a development deal with Roush Fenway Racing, earning the Camping World Truck Series Rookie of the Year, multiple poles including Daytona, and his only series victory at Michigan International Speedway in 2009. He also competed in the NASCAR Nation World Series from 2007 through 2010, securing poles and top 5 finish in limited starts before refocusing on endurance racing.
Braun has since established himself as one of IMSA's most accomplished drivers, claiming 3 WeatherTech Sports Car Championship titles in 2014, 2015, and 2022, more than 24 wins, and 4 Rolex 24 at Daytona victories, including an overall GTP class win in 2023. He has also earned Asian Le Mans Series Championship honors and class victories at the 24 Hour of Le Mans and 24 Hours of Spa. He'll have plenty of teammates at St. Petersburg Colleague Racing Field at St. Pete Colleague Racing Field's 5 full-time Ram trucks in 2026, its debut season in the Truck Series as Ram's anchor partner. The lineup includes Brendan Butterbean Queen, Daniel Dye, Justin Haley, and Timothy Minnie Tyrell, who drives the number 14 after winning Ram's Race for the Seat competition.
Actor Randy Pankow will ride in the fastest seat in sports at the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg this Sunday, March 1st. The race marks the start of the 2026 NTT IndyCar Series, featuring a global roster of supercar drivers, bringing the fastest race on Earth to a full schedule of exhilarating and hyper-challenging events. Pankow will star in Universal's upcoming feature film adaptation of Reminders of Him in theaters Friday, March 13th, and also will soon be seen in Hulu's Never Change, and in the rodeo drama Cowboy. He is most widely known for his portrayal of JJ in the hit Netflix series Outer Banks.
Pankow joins a long list of celebrated IndyCar fastest seat in sports passengers as he leads the field to green in a custom IndyCar Series car with a special back passenger seat. This high-speed, high-octane, supercharged thrill ride has been taken by the likes of Tom Brady, Simu Liu, Jean Bon Jovi, Lady Gaga, and Channing Tatum. Cusick Morgan Motorsports is set to officially begin a new chapter this weekend as the team makes its Indy NXT by Firestone debut at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. The event marks the opening race of the 2026 season and the official launch of Cusick Morgan Motorsports' inaugural campaign in the highly competitive Indy NXT by Firestone Championship. The team will field entries from veteran Juan Manuel Correa and a rookie Nicholas Staddy, bringing a blend of experience and emerging talent to the streets of St. Petersburg.
Both drivers are eager to take on the tight and technical temporary street circuit, a layout that annually delivers one of the most challenging races on the calendar. Correa enters this weekend, targeting a strong start to the championship, while Staddy begins his rookie Indy NXT season, focused on steady progress and early points. Together, they aim to deliver a competitive debut from Cusick Morgan Motorsports. Fans can get qualifying live on FS2 and the race live on FS1, as Cusick Morgan Motorsports looks to make its mark on the series.
USF 2000, presented by Continental Tire, kicks off a brand new campaign this weekend on the unforgiving streets of St. Petersburg, Florida, in support of the opening round of the new NTT IndyCar season. As has become traditional, 2 20-lap races will make up the event, with the second leg of the Foundation Building Materials / Anderson Interior Contracting Grand Prix representing a milestone 250th race since the series was reinstated in 2010 following a 3-year hiatus. This will be the 17th consecutive year that USF 2000 has raced on the 1.8-mile, 14-turn temporary circuit comprised of downtown streets and one of the runways at the adjacent Albert Whitted Airport. Coincidentally, the very first race of the modern era also was held at St. Petersburg and was won by Andretti Autosport's Sage Karam merely 3 weeks after his 15th birthday.
Other previous St. Pete race winners who later progressed to the NTT IndyCar Series include Florida native Spencer Pigot, 3 times in 2011 and 2012, R.C. Anderson in 2014, Oliver Askew 2017, and Kyle Kirkwood 2018. Current Indy XT competitors Miles Rowe, Loshi Hughes, Nikita Johnson, and Max Garcia have also won USF 2000 races in St. Petersburg. USF 2000 is the middle step on USF Pro Championships ladder. It stands between USF Juniors, which was introduced in 2022 as the entry point to the professional ranks of auto racing, and USF Pro 2000, the final stepping stone to the Indian XT and NTT IndyCar Series. USF Pro Championships is unique in the world of auto racing in providing scholarships for championship-winning drivers to graduate onto the next level. With the top 4 contenders from 2025 all graduating to USF Pro 2000 this season, and several other leading competitors also moving up to new pastures, the door has been left wide open for someone to step up and claim the top prize of $409,916 to grease the path towards USF Pro in 2027.
Nevertheless, defending champion Team Exclusive Autosport boasts an extremely strong roster, which includes Evan Cooley from McKenna, Illinois, who placed 5th in the 2025 title chase and was fastest in the Fall Combine postseason test at Indianapolis last October, and Canadian Anthony Martella, who finished 7th after scoring a dominant victory at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park with JHDD. Sebastian Garzon and Eddie Beswick also will be back after placing among the top 10 in 2025. Colombian Garzon, 16, who, like Cooley, impressed last year in St. Petersburg with a 4th place finish, returns with DE Force Racing and has claimed early bragging rights after posting the fastest time among those who attended the recent spring training preseason test at Homestead Miami Speedway. Garzon, incidentally, is coached by 2023 USF 2000 champion Simon Sykes. Beswick, a former Formula Ford champion in his native Australia, has joined Pabst Racing, which seeks to bounce back after winning the championship in both 2023 and 2024.
Other likely contenders will include the top 3 USF Juniors protagonists from last year, Leonardo Escarpini, Liam Loicono, and Yao Vergara. Escarpini, a Florida-based Brazilian, was a clear championship winner with 6 wins to his name. He graduates to the next level in partnership once again with Zanella Racing, which will make its bow at this level. Australian Loicono makes the step with Jay Howard's team, which probably boasts of fresh alignments with the NTT IndyCar Series team at Carpenter Racing, while Vergara, another Florida-based Brazilian, graduates from VRD Racing, which won the USF 2000 Teams Championship in 2025. A strong entry of 23 cars also includes the top 3 FRP F1600 Championship Series contenders from last year, brothers Gabriel and Ayrton Cahan from Santa Fe, New Mexico, who make their debut with Exclusive Autosport, and Wesley Gunder with the new ENVE Motorsports team. Incredibly, all 3 were blanketed by a mere 2 points following their 20-race campaign.
Complete coverage can be found on the free USF Pro Championship app, YouTube channel, and series website, usf2000.com. The 22nd annual Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg will bring a full weekend of high-speed action to the picturesque downtown St. Petersburg waterfront. The NTT IndyCar Series headlines the event as the premier open-wheel series in North American opens its season in St. Pete for the 16th time on Sunday, March 1st. Joining the race weekend is the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for their inaugural street race on Saturday, February 28th in the Only Bulls Green Flag 150 at St. Petersburg. The racing schedule will also feature the sport's rising stars as Indy NXT by Firestone and USF 2000 presented by Continental Tire speed through the downtown streets. Additionally, the Wayland Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin will provide fender-bending sports car competition.
Both 3-day and single-day grandstand and ground admission tickets are available, starting as low as $30. For complete pricing, schedule, and festival information, visit gpstpete.com. Follow the event on social media using @GPStPete and #FirestoneGP for the latest updates. Joining the E-Club also provides insider access to the latest news and offers. Now, I'm lucky enough to actually be covering that event for this podcast and for my Motorsports News and Views webpage. I'll be doing that this weekend, heading up there on Saturday morning, really darn early. For those of you who've faced going from east to west across the state of Florida, it's not the most exciting drive, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be a nice weekend of racing over there. Hopefully the weather cooperates. Currently, it looks like it might be a little bit rainy there tomorrow, but I'm hoping the rain clears by Saturday by the time I get there. So should be a good weekend of racing. It'll be really full. As I stated before, the Grand Prix of St. Pete is one of the most exciting races and weekends that I've ever been to, where they have all sorts of racing action from several different series. This year, including the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, which would be really cool. I am looking forward to talking to a couple of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series guys on Saturday morning, as long as my timing works out, which I'm hoping it does. I'm also working on getting an interview with Manny Terrell, who's been on this program before in its previous incarnation, and I'm hoping to get to talk to him again shortly as well, and hear what his thoughts are about St. Petersburg, as well as his current ride in Cowlick Racing. So that should be really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Getting back to previous weekend's racing, last weekend, of course, was the Daytona 500. It was a really good event. It was kind of fun. Last week was the Echo Park 500, rather. The previous weekend was the Daytona 500. Last weekend's race in Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta was kind of cool. I got to see a little bit of that. It was really cool to see Tyler Reddick duplicate his victory from the previous week there in Daytona. It was a pretty awesome event. I did watch the entire Truck Series race from Echo Park, because it is the race coming up before this one that I'm going to be heading out to on Saturday morning. So it was kind of cool. It was neat to see those guys run. It was a really good event, and it was cool to see Kyle Busch win the race as well. They mentioned an interesting stat there where Kyle Busch has won 37.9% of all the races in his professional career. So he won another one on Saturday. That was awesome, and hopefully he's able to pull off a few more victories there in the Truck Series this year. I think he's going to take that win in Atlanta to his advantage there this weekend in COTA, although there are totally different tracks. But it should be pretty cool to see him race there. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of that on Sunday. But as I said, I'll be up in St. Pete watching the Indy cars, as well as the Craftsman truck cars and some of the other series as well. So it should be pretty cool. Did you have a chance to watch any of the Daytona or Atlanta races?
I watched about 20 laps of the Daytona race, and it was the final laps too. So that was really interesting. I thought the last 20 laps was really good. And I watched probably 10 minutes of the race last weekend. I didn't watch a whole bunch of that one, but I was impressed with the finish of the Daytona 500. And I think it's cool that Tyler Reddick, like you said, duplicated his win, because you don't hear of them doing that very often, winning twice in a row. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I did watch a little bit of the Daytona 500. I wouldn't say I watched enough of the race last weekend to really form an opinion, unfortunately. But I did think the Daytona 500, at least the last 20 laps, I'm sure the whole race was good, but the last 20 laps I thought was really good.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a really good event. I didn't watch much of it either. I watched pretty much the beginning, and I watched the end. The middle, I was working outside and doing other things, because I'm actually able to do that a little bit more now, which is great. Happy to be able to do that again. But it was really fun to see the race there in Daytona. It was fun. It was cool, and it was good that they had a fairly competitive race. Although it seemed like it was really a head to toe type race where there was very little passing except for the last few laps. But that was good that they ended up winning, ended up going across like that. Although the ending under caution for Daytona, it's sort of a par for the course thing, but it's never really good to have that many accidents at the end of the race. So it was good to see Tyler pull ahead, and it's great they finished in the top last week, and hopefully he has a good weekend this week as well. That would be something if he ended up winning in COTA after winning the speedways in Daytona and Atlanta. So that would be something.
Has anyone ever, this might be a silly question maybe, but has anyone ever three-peated? Well, I'm sure someone probably has, but
yeah, I'm sure they have. It's been quite some time. So yeah. I don't think anybody in the modern era, as they call it in NASCAR, has done that. So it'll be cool to see if he's able to. I think that I'm sure that Michael Jordan will be happy, and the people, the Danny Hamlin and other people there with 2311 will be really cool, really happy with that. But it'll be interesting to see. I think that Reddick is definitely having a great year. It is, as Danny Hamlin said last weekend, it's a little too early to tell how whether they're going to be a dominant year, although they're hoping for that. I know that Hamlin would prefer to to have some of the wins go in his direction there at Joe Gibbs Racing, but I'm sure he'd also be happy if 2311 had a really good year too.
You know who surprised me? Like I said, I didn't watch the whole Daytona 500, but Bubba Wallace was doing really good. He was a name I heard kind of mentioned quite a lot, and it looked pretty good for him for a minute. So
yeah, he's currently in second place in the NASCAR Cup Series standing. So he's had a really good first few weeks. Even though I'm sure he would prefer to finish a little higher up in the leaderboard, but having very good points weekend for the first 2 weeks is something I'm sure he's really happy about.
yeah. So, and how many races are there this season? Because I know it was supposed to not go quite as long.
It's still 36.
So 36.
Yeah, that's the whole season. It's gonna be interesting because they're not like they did some points changes and they've done some things with the championship at the end of the year. So it'll be something. The winning makes a bigger difference. The amount of points you have throughout the season will make a bigger difference at the end, and so it'll be something to see how it goes. I think that the consistency has been the key in the past for NASCAR, so I think that's going to be the important thing. Of course, if you're consistently in the front and winning the races, that makes all the difference. But if you're consistently in the top 5, top 10, and other people aren't, that'll make it pretty good too.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So it should be an interesting season. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the race there in St. Pete. It's been several years since I've headed over there. I was at the first race 22 years ago, 21 years ago now, but still I was there for that. And I've been to several others since, but it's been a few years since I've been to that race, so it should be a really good one. That should be cool. I think that the getting to talk to the two guys from Nice Motorsports, if I'm able to do that, which I'm really hoping, should be a fun way to get the weekend started too. Both those guys are former competitors in the Cars Tour. They both won championships in the Cars Tour, so that'll be something. One of the guys there was a previous driver in the Stadium Super Truck Series, so he has a little bit of knowledge about St. Pete because they did race there last year in the Stadium Super Trucks. So that gives him a little bit of advantage, not much because they won't be doing any jumping in the Craftsman trucks, at least none that they have planned. So that'll be something though.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy that weekend. Sounds like there's going to be a lot of good racing. I didn't realize the weekend was so stacked like that. That would be really interesting. Really good weekend.
Yeah, I think they have 5 series competing there this weekend. They have all those series will be on track or at least sometime tomorrow. Most of them will be on track again on Saturday, and then there won't be as many on Sunday, of course. There's a few races on Sunday too. So I think there's at least 3 races on Sunday. So it'll be really good. It should be interesting. We're looking forward to seeing at least a couple of those races. I don't know how much we'll see. I know we'll be there for the truck race and we'll be there for the IndyCar race anyway. So it should be really fun.
Yeah, well, I hope you have fun. Bring your warm clothes because you might need them.
Yeah, I'm curious how the general admission is because I'm not. All we have is we have the media access, which gives us access to the media center, of course, and through some of the paddocks and things. But that doesn't give us any of the seats. So it'll be interesting to see how the general admission is. We've done that one time there, and it wasn't the best. It wasn't horrible, but I know they've expanded out a little bit. They've done some changes to some of the seating and some of the boards and that sort of thing there. So it should be good to see, and I think it'll be a really fun race. It's a really great course there in St. Petersburg where it goes right along the water and through the airport and that sort of thing. So it's kind of neat, right downtown, and it'll be should be a good weekend for racing. Like I said, Saturday afternoon should be fine. Sunday should be really good, and hopefully the rain holds off for most of the day on Saturday. I know tomorrow's going to rain, but hopefully it's not a bad rainy day. It's just enough rain to get everything wet and get everybody rinsed off and ready to go.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
How did your husband and son there enjoy the race in Seattle last week?
They loved it. They loved it. They thought that it was really good racing. They got to do I'm not quite sure what they call it there, but where you go through the pits, and they got
Mhm.
to see a bunch of the riders like signing autographs, and they thought that was cool. But one thing that I kind of liked that they told me anyway, because they brought home all these like autographed cards, and they were like different riders and stuff, of course. But the riders that they seen like sitting there signing all these pictures, they signed like a whole stack of them, and then they like put them in like something, so people got to like still get an autographed picture without having to actually see the rider or get it from the rider themselves. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a good event, it sounds like. And yeah, they really enjoy it. And I think what stood out the most to at least my son anyway was the big flames that come up when they start their main events. He talked about the fire, the fire. So that stood out to him the most. And of course he wants a pink dirt bike. He wants a pink dirt bike. It has to be pink, but he wants a dirt bike. So it was good, and it left, a lasting impression on him, a good one. And they both came home with smiles and good things to say, nothing negative. So it sounded like it was a really good event.
That's good. And this weekend is the start of Bike Week there in Daytona. I will not be heading up there this weekend. I will be heading up there next weekend. I don't know how much of the bike stuff I'll see. I'm sure I'll see a lot of the bikes around town and all that, but I don't know if I'll have a chance to get to the track at all. But that's going to be crazy up there in Daytona. They've got all sorts of events there. They've got of course, they're known for the events at track, which is the Moto America race, the Daytona 200, which takes place next week. They've got the American flat track races that take place at the Speedway there on the flat track. Those are, I believe, they're Thursday and Friday of next week. I'm going to do a little piece on the. Let's see, make sure that was right. I think it's Thursday and Friday, but they also have a Saturday race there. So that'll be next week. And they've got all sorts of events taking place from the 28th until the 6th and 7th. So they've got a concert there this weekend. Kip Moore, who will be at the Daytona Bandshell, he'll be kicking off the festivities. And they've got all sorts of other events there. They've got the thing at the Sopotnik's Cabbage Patch, which is the coleslaw wrestling, which is always an interesting draw. And they've got all the stuff taking place on Main Street, and I believe they've got the Wheel of Death that's going to be at the fairgrounds, as well as the Burning Bike Festival up there. So be a lot of interesting motorcycle events there in the next week in Daytona, including Supercross, which takes place at the Speedway. I saw they're working on that track now. They've got that almost done. So that'll be something to see. We've talked a little bit about that, about the fact that the track is cool, but the spectator area is not quite as good as it could be for that particular event, but it is really good for the Daytona 200, and hopefully they have a really good Daytona 200 out there coming up. Should be a really good week of motorcycle action. So if you're heading up there to Daytona, have fun. It should be really fun. If you're heading up to St. Pete this weekend, that should be good too. They also have a race in Sebring this weekend. The Trans Ams will be heading to Sebring this weekend. So that'll be really awesome as well. I was looking into that, but I think it just kind of sucks that they've got all the major events happening the same weekend, which is the Grand Prix of St. Pete there in St. Petersburg, the Bike Week events in Daytona, and the Trans Am race in Sebring. At least they don't also have the NHRA event in Gainesville, which used to be the same weekend as well. This year, Gainesville has moved back a couple of weeks. So we'll go ahead and cover that a little bit next week. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'm happy that that has been moved back. Still, they need to space things out more. If you're a race fan in Florida, you have to pick and choose where you're going to go to. And it's impossible to be in 3 places at once. It's even more difficult to be in 4 places at once. So it just doesn't make sense. But sometimes they try to get the weather and they try to get the timing and everything else. So just a crazy time of year here in Florida for racing.
I have sort of an off-topic question, but it is also on topic a little bit. Excuse me. Which is crazier? Is it like when they have the bike event in Florida? Not the bike event, because I know they do like a truck event too. So which is crazier, do you think? Is it when they have their bike event or when they have their truck event?
In terms of people, I think the trucks are are a little more out of control. Just because I've actually had the chance to head out there for the truck event, and the truck event is it's how do I put it? It's not as well not as well governed, not as well not as official, I suppose. They do have official type events, but it goes a little beyond that. Not that the motorcycle event is not, but the parts of the truck thing I saw were a little crazy, and I think Daytona didn't like that, and so they've tried to rein that in a little bit. They've tried to rein in the motorcycles as well, but motorcycle people, no matter how insane the motorcycle people are, everybody knows the motorcycle guys are businessmen. They're whether they're professional lawyers, doctors, and all that, or whether they're tradesmen, they're all professionals. They're not the young crazy guys that some of the truck guys are, and that I think that causes a little bit more of a problem for the city. Is that the truck people are definitely the young crazy guys, and the motorcycle guys, although they may portray themselves as young and crazy, are aging professionals, so they know how to contain themselves, although they might go a little crazy at times.
You know, I could see that, actually. I think that's probably pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm. So, not the truck people aren't crazy. They're not the truck people and the motorcycle people aren't crazy, but the truck people seem a little more out of control. I think that's the word than the motorcycle guys. So, but I'd love to go up there and see the motorcycle thing at least one time. I've been at the outskirts of it, but I've never seen the actual. Been in the middle of it. The truck thing, unfortunately, I got in the middle of it a couple of times, and that was just a little much. So, but the motorcycle thing looks cool. They've got the fancy things that take place there on Main Street in Daytona, which are always kind of neat. They've got the parades, and they've got all the shows and the concerts, and so some of that will be covered this year, I'm sure, by View from the Cheap Seats, which is a friend of the channel here. View from the Cheap Seats there on YouTube. They have a tendency to go to a lot of the motorcycle events there. I know they'll at least be at some of them, so I'd advise checking that out. If you haven't, you can check out their page there on YouTube. But it is quite a thing, and it's definitely something to see. And like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of the edges of it anyway. Next weekend, I'll be heading up there to Daytona on Friday of next week, so should be really cool. Should be a good weekend. We'll be doing some stuff, getting ready for some projects we've got going on here around the house, but we'll see some of the stuff up there and it'll be neat. So, should be fun. So what's your next big thing you're looking forward to in terms of auto racing or whatever?
I'm not really sure because I don't ever really like plan ahead. I know there are a couple races that every year I'm like, dang, that sounds kind of cool, and then I wish I would have put it on the calendar because I think of it again and it passed. So there's a couple like little races like that. Like I always have wanted to go to it's a dirt track around here. Can't remember what it's called though, unfortunately, but it's around here somewhere. But anyways, that's one of those things that, like I said, I think of it, and then when I think of it again, it's already passed, so my time is like up. But I don't know, probably just the local racing stuff. There's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff this year, I have a feeling. Yeah, I don't know. But the racing around here should be starting. I think they're going to start practicing in like 3 weeks. And then the season will officially begin in April. So I'll have a little more interesting stuff here in a few weeks. But yeah, it's pretty slow around here still. But soon I'll have more things to report.
That's good. And I'll be looking out for a small pink dirt bike for sale on the side of the road in Daytona for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it should be, like I said, it should be a good weekend of racing. Looking forward to it. If you have a chance, be sure to check out the coverage. They're going to have that on Fox this weekend. It's going to be on there, so be sure to check that. You can also go to gpstpete.com for more details. They've got information not only about the IndyCar race, but also about the Truck Series race and the USF Pro Championships. So be sure to check that out there. In addition to the Whelen MX5 Cup. I know a lot of those races will be available online. They'll be available on YouTube. Most of the ones from the INSA page, as well as the IndyCar. The NASCAR race, of course, that's a little bit different story, but that will be on as well, coming up in the coming days. But I'd advise you check that out live. They do have the practice and qualifying tomorrow on Fox Sports 2, and they've got the race there on Fox on Saturday for the Truck Series. That should be really good. And I think that the IndyCar race should be pretty cool too. They have 25 cars competing in that, and that will be on Sunday. It'll be something to see how the cars go. I know that there's a lot of different storylines they're going to be covering. The changing of some of the teams around. There's a lot of 3-car teams there now. There's a few 2-car teams that have come up they're going to be competing, and there's Prima Motorsports, which isn't going to be competing this year. That was a big name event, a big name team last season. So a lot of interesting storylines there in IndyCar as well. Be sure to check those out. It should be a good weekend of racing. I'm hoping that Will Power has a good weekend. I'm hoping that Graham Rahal has a good weekend because he's always fun, although he's had some off years lately. I think that the favorite from my standpoint for the IndyCar race is probably someone like Pato O'Ward, another friend of the show who's been on here several times. Hopefully he does really well too. He races for McLaren, of course, for Arrow McLaren. So that should be a really good weekend for him, and hopefully it's a good weekend for everybody and a good, nice, safe race. That is my concern with that track. It's had some history in the past where it hasn't been the safest, but it's also had some racing where it's pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. It should be really good. And I don't know enough about the people racing the Truck Series to pick a winner there, but I do think it's going to be a competitive race, and it'll be really cool to see how it goes. I don't think that Dario Franchitti will be competitive, although he is going to have a really good, well-maintained truck. He'll be racing there with Tricor Motorsports, with Jimmy Johnson sitting on top of the box for him. So that'll be cool. There are also other racers, including Colin Braun, who's doing a one-off, and even the guy I'm going to be talking to on Saturday morning, Bill Mayer there, he is doing pretty much a one-off race as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Again, I'm hoping that Millie Terrell does well, another friend of the show. He should have a really good weekend too. So be sure to tune in.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, but I just had one more question. Does the course, the St. Petersburg course, has it been the same every year that they've put on the race?
For the past 22 years. Yeah, it's been pretty much the same. They've made some small adjustments here and there, but it's been pretty much the same for the past 22 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's quite the great little course there. It's really neat, right at the waterfront. So you can see the Gulf there, and every so often you can see the cruise ships go by. So it's kind of cool.
Oh wow, that does. It sounds majestic.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it doesn't have the best reputation in terms of travel admission tickets, but I'm thinking they've made enough adjustments now that it should be fun to see, and we'll figure it out. So the one time we actually had the last time, I think, or no, it was the time before, a few years ago, when Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan had reorganized, and they brought in Lanigan as the partner there, and Bobby Rahal had taken a little bit of a step back. He actually was sitting there with his wife and his young kids up in the grandstands, and that was really awesome. He was like 2 rows ahead of us. So that was cool.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully there's a lot of good on-track action. It should be a really nice weekend, and I'm hoping it'll be fun. Again, I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Manny Terrell. I have his email out to him to try and get him on the program again. He's been on once before. It's been a long time, back when he was really a Manny Terrell guy. Now he's a full-grown guy. He was less than, he was like 12 or 13 the last time he was on the show here. So it's been like 10 years anyway, but he'll have a good year. Hopefully he does really well with college racing. He's doing a lot of good things with his career, and it should be really fun to see him progress a little bit further. So hopefully we get a chance to talk to him soon, and I'm looking forward to talking to these two guys from the Nice Motorsports on Saturday, and we're going to have highlights of that on next week on this show. So it should be really awesome, and hopefully it's a good interview, and it'll be good to listen to them, and hopefully they have a really good week. With that, let's go ahead and wrap up the show tonight, because we're going to have a busy few days, and we have to get some packing done and other things. So get ready to head over across the state. Be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder by visiting facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. Listen to previous episodes of this show at Thursday Night Thunder Podcast.podbean.com or on Podchaser. You can also find the show on iHeartRadio, Boomplay, Spotify, Player FM. You can find it on Amazon now, as well as youtube.com/FABORPLUMBS. That's youtube.com/ForMorePlums. If you'd like to support the show, check out the fan club feature on the Podbean app. Go to facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder for more details. I did edit that a little bit today, so it's easier to find, and it's right there on the top of the page. Be sure to check that. I also invite you to check out my racing news site at motorsportsnewsandviews.wordpress.com. I put out an awful lot of stories there this past weekend, a lot of them previewing the race there in St. Petersburg, as well as a lot of NASCAR stories. I did a lot of Daytona 500 stories the previous week, so be sure to check that out. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida, and who isn't, be sure to check out my latest news and information about our slice of paradise at my travel blog, For Plums Fantastic Finds, which can be found on Facebook at For Plums Fantastic Finds, on Twitter at PB Happening, and by heading to For Plums Fantastic Finds, that's FABORPLUMBS Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing.
Thanks again, and talk to you later.